Today, we're diving deep into the newly revealed mysteries and astonishing abilities of the Seraphim, as shown in the latest episode. Back in episode 1059, titled Colonel Kobe's Incident, we first got a glimpse of the Seraphim, with two based on Boa Hancock and Mihawk. However, episode 1086 introduced us to three new Seraphim, but their details remain shrouded in mystery. In this video, we're going to thoroughly analyze the hidden powers and secrets of these Seraphim. If you find this analysis convincing, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And hey, if you have a different take or opinion, I'd love to hear it in the comments. Just a heads up, this video contains spoilers up to episode 1086, so be warned. Alright, let's dive right in. First up, let's summarize the Seraphim that have already appeared. The term Seraphim first surfaced in episode 1059, Colonel Kobe's Incident. In the episode featuring Vice Admiral Yamakaji, two Seraphim made their debut. One is S-Snake, based on the bloodline factor of Pirate Empress Boa Hancock. The other is S-Hawk, based on Hawkeye Mihawk. Interestingly, each Seraphim is a clone resembling their respective bases in their childhood. There are likely two reasons for this: the manufacturing period of the Seraphim and inducing the enemy's complacency. First, let's talk about the manufacturing period. Yanzi of the Germa 66, who also produced clone soldiers, provides a clue. He mentioned that creating a 20-year-old clone soldier takes about 5 years. However, the urgent need for Seraphim might have led to them being released in child forms due to time constraints. The abolition of the 7 warlords of the sea was a sudden development after all. As for inducing the enemy's complacency, remember the scene in the Egghead arc where Nami hesitated to attack a Seraphim? That's because it was in the form of a child. Additionally, in Wano Country, Big Mom showed kindness to children, and Tashigi did the same in Punk Hazard. Thus, having Seraphim appear as children seems to be a tactical advantage in making opponents lower their guard. Margaret and others in Amazon Lily also expressed reluctance to fight such children. If this was a strategy, it's highly effective. Following S-Snake and S-Hawk, we saw S-Bear, based on Tyrant Kuma, and S-Shark, based on Jinbei in the Straits. Looking at the lineup, it's entirely composed of former 7 warlords of the sea. Fujitora even remarked that the 7 warlords were no longer needed after seeing the Seraphim. It's fair to say that the Seraphim are a complete replication of the 7 warlords through cloning. But if the original pirates who served as bases for the Seraphim were to battle them, it's hard to predict if it would be an even match. For instance, it's unclear if S-Snake can wield Conqueror's Haki like Hancock, and there might be differences in their use of Haki. On the flip side, all the Seraphim are based on the Lunarian race, a nearly invincible species that remains unharmed as long as their back flames burn. Therefore, if the original pirates and the Seraphim were to fight, the outcome would be truly unpredictable. Moreover, each Seraphim possesses either the same Devil Fruit abilities as the original or a Paramecia-type ability suited to the individual. Next, let's organize and review the abilities that have been assigned to the Seraphim we've seen so far. Let's start by taking a closer look at S-Snake, modeled after Boa Hancock. Young Hancock was incredibly cute, but having monstrous strength with that appearance feels almost unfair. So what abilities were granted to S-Snake through Dr. Vegapunk's pinnacle of chemistry? The artificial blood, green blood, infused with Devil Fruit power? It's the same Love Fruit ability as Hancock. This means they perfectly recreated Hancock's power. In fact, when Usopp, Lilith, and Frankie saw S-Snake, they were completely smitten and turned to stone. At this rate, Luffy, who seems to be the only one immune to her charm, might be the only one who can defeat S-Snake. The Love Fruit is a particularly troublesome ability, as it doesn't just turn those hit by the Love beam into stone. If you're kicked or shot with an arrow made from the Love ability, you'll also turn to stone. But the catch is that only the person who inflicted the stone transformation can reverse it. Meaning, if someone inherits the ability or replicates the same ability through green blood, they can't undo the transformation unless they were the ones who caused it in the first place. This makes it an almost guaranteed win, quite the cheetah of an ability if you ask me. Having the power of a Devil Fruit and the body of a Lunarian? That's just overpowered. Even Dr. Vegapunk called them the ultimate humans, and they truly live up to that title. Next up, let's dive into S-Hawk, produced using Mihawk's lineage factor. Remember how dashing young Mihawk looked? But what really blew my mind was the accuracy in replicating his swordsmanship. While it might not be on par with the current Mihawk, it seems like they have the world's top swordsmanship. In the Egghead arc, Zoro, Mihawk's disciple, squared off against S-Hawk, exchanging blows head-on. This suggests that, at least in terms of swordsmanship, S-Hawk might be a tad inferior to the current Mihawk. He does have the physique you'd expect from his appearance. Still, with a sword resembling Mihawk's beloved blade Yoru and the ability to casually slice through a massive rock formation in Amazon Lily, he's a beast with the blade. And while Mihawk isn't a devil fruit user, S-Hawk wields the dice fruit power. It's an incredibly synergistic ability for S-Hawk, given that his strength lies in his swordsmanship. This ability originally belonged to Brokeworks' former office agent Mr. One, also known as Daz Bones. It's a devil fruit power that turns the entire body into a blade. So, S-Hawk can unleash Mihawk's sword techniques not just with his sword, but using every part of his body. If a Seraphim with the same strength as the current Mihawk were to be produced, we'd have a real monster on our hands. Moving on, we have S-Bear, crafted based on Kuma. Just adding bear to the name gives it a cuter vibe. But contrary to that image, S-Bear is among the more potent Seraphim. S-Bear can deploy the Ursus Shock, the shockwave bomb that dealt massive damage to the Straw Hat crew in Thriller Bank. They pretty much nail Kuma's recreation, and there's a possibility that S-Bear might have an even higher completion rate compared to other Seraphim. Why? Because Vegapunk had a deep relationship with Bartholomew Kuma, the foundation for S-Bear. And he likely knew more about what Kuma's abilities could do through scientific exploration than Kuma himself. Given this, it's entirely plausible that S-Bear could master the Paw Paw Fruit's ability even more than Kuma. If S-Bear can replicate abilities like teleportation and deflecting attacks, he's going to be one tough cookie. I'm curious whether he'll become an ally or an adversary down the road. Next, let's talk about S-Shark, created based on Jinbei. This Seraphim was sentenced to death by an enraged Sanji for attacking Nami. And, like Jinbei, S-Shark can utilize Fishman Karate. Boss Jinbei's Fishman Karate is top tier among the Fishman race. But, as we saw with S-Hawk, it's uncertain if the Seraphim possess the exact same strength as their pirate bases. So, we can't necessarily say S-Shark's Fishman Karate is on par with Jinbei's. If it was an exact match, that'd be pretty insane. The ability granted to S-Shark is the Swim fruit, previously held by Don Quixote's family executive, Senor Pink. This fruit seemed to excel in evasion, but didn't appear to enhance attack power. You might wonder if it's the right fit for a Seraphim. In fact, for S-Shark, it's a perfect match. Being modeled after the Fishman Jinbei, S-Shark excels in underwater combat. Moreover, Jinbei specializes in Fishman Jiu-Jitsu, a type of Fishman Karate that utilizes water. Thanks to the Swim fruit, S-Shark can fight as if he's underwater, even on land. It syncs perfectly with the Fishman physique and fighting style, allowing continuous peak performance. But what criteria does Vegapunk use when selecting abilities for the Seraphim? Is there some kind of pattern? From here, let's analyze the abilities of previously introduced Seraphim and speculate on the powers of the three new ones. Starting off, the known Seraphim abilities are the Love fruit, the Slice fruit, the Paw fruit, and the Swim fruit. One clear commonality is that only Paramecium-type abilities have been granted. Vegapunk himself has stated that he couldn't replicate Logia-type abilities no matter what. So, the abilities that can be granted to Seraphim are likely Paramecia and possibly artificial Zoan-type fruits. There's no evidence yet of Zoan-type abilities being granted, but it's not out of the question for the future. From the trends so far, the original ability holders of the Seraphim powers: 1. Lost in battle against the Straw Hat crew. 2. Were captured by Impel Down or the government. These two common features exist. Senior Pink, defeated by Frankly and later captured by the Marines, fits the mold, making it possible for Vegapunk to obtain his lineage factor. When the human base for a Seraphim was a paramecia user and either associated with the government or captured by them, the Seraphim is given the exact same ability. This likely ensures the ability's maximum potential is utilized. Let's dive into the abilities of the newly introduced Seraphim. Interestingly, the three that made their debut were also former members of the 7 Warlords of the Sea. These new three are based on Don Quixote, Doflamingo, the head of Don Quixote family, Sir Crocodile, a top executive of the Cross Guild, and Gecko Moria, captain of the Thriller Bank Pirates. However, their names haven't been revealed. But if I had to guess, Doflamingo's Seraphim might be called S Flamingo. Given Moria's bat-like persona, his Seraphim could be S-Bat. For Crocodile, it could be simply S Crocodile, or to distinguish him, maybe S Alligator. Each of the 7 warlords can be represented by some animal. Could this be foreshadowing something? Now, let's delve deeper into the abilities of these 3 new Seraphims. First up, let's look at the Seraphim based on Doflamingo, which I'll tentatively call S Flamingo. Considering the commonalities we've observed with other Seraphim, where the human base has been captured by the government and has a paramecia type ability, it's likely that S Flamingo has the string fruit ability that the real Doflamingo possessed. Whether the Seraphim can awaken this power and transform the surroundings into strings remains uncertain. However, abilities like Birdcage, which trap people inside, and Parasite, which allows control over others, might be possible. This would make them a considerable threat to pirates possessing an ability that's perfect for capturing them. Next up, let's think about the abilities of the S-Bat based on Moria. Just like S Flamingo, S-Bat shares common points. Moria was also a former member of the 7 Warlords and a paramecia type ability user. So, it's logical to assume that S-Bat possesses the abilities of the real Moria's Shadow Fruit. This means the government could command a zombie army using the power of shadows, or even snatch shadows from imprisoned captives to gain tremendous military power. Imagine if S-Bat could steal the shadow of Mihawk and place it in a swordsman's body. Theoretically, it could mean controlling 2 Mihawks with the ability of S-Hawk. So, when you think about it, that's a seriously incredible ability. Finally, let's discuss the abilities of S Crocodile. The real Crocodile was a Logia-type user of the Sand Fruit, an ability that Vegapunk couldn't replicate. Therefore, the abilities given to S Crocodile are likely different from those of the original, unlike Doflamingo and Mariah's Seraphim. So, what could this ability be? I'd bet on the Stone Fruit ability of Pika, one of the top executives of the Don Quixote family. Dressrosa and Alabasta, countries nearly overtaken by members of the 7 Warlords, share numerous similarities, like the appearance of Luffy's brother and the roles of princesses as enemies, the similarities in the abilities of the 7 Warlords of the Sea, to mention a few. Given these parallels, Doflamingo and Crocodile often seem to be portrayed together. So, when considering S Crocodile's ability, I first think of an ability possessed by a member of the Don Quixote family. Crocodile's fighting style with the Sand Fruit involved touching the ground to turn it into sand. This means there's a high affinity for the Stone Fruit ability, which also involves battling by touching the ground. Crocodile's iconic poses often include touching the ground or buildings. Furthermore, Pizarro of the Blackbeard Pirates has the Stripe Fruit ability, seemingly an upgrade of the Stone Fruit ability. So, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Seraphim with the Stone Fruit ability to counter that force. Looks like there will be an epic battle. That's all for today. This channel posts summaries, explanations, and ranking videos related to One Piece. If you like One Piece, we would be happy if you could support us by subscribing to our channel and commenting. Thank you for watching till the end. See you in the next video.